But also in the world of AEW, Fightful following up on the Mercedes Mone injury, saying that AEW had actually inquired with New Japan about using Mercedes Mone as far back as January when she debuted for Wrestle Kingdom, or debuted at Wrestle Kingdom 17. There was talk at the time about her maybe doing Forbidden Door 2, but it looks like her injury is going to keep her out past the show. And there was word that she could be looking to face Saraya on that show, running back the injury angle from WWE 5 years ago. I think it was a little over 5 years ago, where at a house show, Sasha's the one who, re-injured Saraya's neck. Nobody is pointing fingers. Accidents happen in wrestling, but that's where things were left off, and I guess that's what they wanted to try to capitalize on it for Forbidden Door 2.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm interested in that, man. I mean, that was a very pivotal moment in both of their careers, and I mean, like, let's just call it what it is. Tomorrow is a promise, and neither is anyone's career. And I get that they have made peace with it, but to use it in terms of programming, I mean, I could imagine that there has to be a level of trauma still to it. I mean, just because you forgive something don't mean like you have actually processed it. And like Saraya, being one of the hottest wrestlers at the time, understands what it means to have a career-ending injury. And now that Mercedes Mone has an injury and will obviously be able to return, understands what it means to have everything in your hand. It could instantly be pulled from under you. I can't see how the two of them can say like, yeah, sure, let's start to bring that up and use it as programming, get everybody involved, because all eyes over the world are going to look at this, and then not really generate trauma. I don't know if I want to see that in that way.
It's not. It would be the first time that a wrestling angle is built off an injury. I just don't know that. I don't know how the match would deliver. Right? These are two women that are just finding their. I mean, not that Mercedes Mone has been injured by like Saraya was, but she hasn't been wrestling actively for like 2 years now, and Saraya is just finding her sea legs right now. Now, I do think her ring work is getting a lot better for what it's worth with Saraya. And if this match isn't going to go down at Forbidden Door 2, well, if she can get healthy and she can get her ankle right, I mean, Saraya versus Mercedes Mone in London at All In, Saraya's backyard.
Oh, sells tickets.
That sounds like a lot better fit for me. Like, if you could still make the match happen. I will also point out with this, I had gotten impressions from people that there was like possibly something in Mercedes and Trin's release agreement with WWE that would prevent them from working with or for AEW. So the fact that there was an inquiry made about it possibly happening kind of pours a little hot or cold water on that idea for me, and makes me wonder why they didn't choose AEW. If it was an option for them, I don't know why.
I find that hard to believe on a contract thing. I mean, the one thing that Mercedes and Trinity has done fantastically upon their release is they have gotten representation here. They then got a lawyer or agent or whoever it may be. They've taken great bookings. They're bringing in amazing money. I mean, let's go back here. They hit C2E2, which was like a big Comic-Con deal, racking in the money. Folks were just like, oh, well, they're just going to, do the traditional wrestling thing. Go get the con money and work some indie shows or sign to et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. No. Then they went to the fashion show weekend in New York. Huge deal, monumental deal that a lot of folks aren't really talking about. Being there and being able to actually be a part of it is a huge deal in all capacity. And I have to think that their agent was just throwing them opportunities in terms of like, hey, this is there. And then obviously Mercedes being under the Disney umbrella. I mean, listen now. If she does it right at that point now, especially coming to the table, which I know we're going to talk about Disney a little bit, but listen, when you come to the table with Disney, you're not coming by yourself and you're not coming with the proper folks. And after coming out of a big contract and then moving into another big deal with another big entertainment and studio company, you learn some things over time. So I think that anything that she does, I think she's going to make sure before that pen hits the paper that it truly reflects and allows her to have all the opportunity that she can. I wouldn't see her wanting to be letting something stifle her from a possibility going forward. I honestly think when they got released, I think they realized that the world was so big and the opportunities were so limitless. Why actually run to sign off to something right now when you can hit all these other little things? Hit all that money, and as they continue to do so. And I think why you say Trinity with Impact, because I think Impact has been known to allow folks to work dates, get a check, but also still do everything else that they still want to do. So I think it's still a level of freedom there.
So your theory of the case is AEW just maybe too much of a commitment right now. Well, there's so many other opportunities they have available. They want to stay relevant in the pro wrestling space, but they don't want to go so far as to making it the centerpiece of what it is that they're doing at the moment.
1,000%, because I mean, like, and I don't know this to be true, but I'm thinking like the Ahsoka trailer, Ahsoka dropped September, that's focusing on Rosario Dawson's character Ahsoka and in the Star Wars universe. And in that trailer, we was all wondering, we knew who the villain was going to be, but then I saw a Mandalorian in it. And the moment you see a Mandalorian, you think like, okay, well, you can't use the main Mandalorian, but you sure could use any of the other ones who made this need a cameo, as we see Mercedes, who was not announced for Mandalorian season 3, make a return towards the end of the season in a big way. And I think that you want to be completely available for when these random opportunities of saying like, hey, we may need you for something. I think that, and I think Trinity is learning from Mone, and hopefully she's hoping to bargain off of a big deal to get herself into some bigger opportunities as well. So I think keeping, like you said, enough relevancy, but keeping things open for the possibilities that may come. And I truly think the free agency thing or being released from WWE has just only grew their stardom and their popularity in all of entertainment, not just wrestling.
Well, let's jump to the Disney story here, because it's a nice little pivot into our WWE block. So WrestleVotes came out after there. So New York Post is really where this started. New York Post is kind of looking at the current TV rights negotiations that WWE is engaged in. They were the first, but I think this had been known that the exclusive negotiating window for WWE with Fox and Comcast USA Network has closed, right? There's I think it's 30-day window, or I think it's 30 days, 60 days, 30 days after the contract comes out, whatever triggers. Mm-hmm. Anyway, that's closed. So now WWE can go talk to anybody they want as potential buyers for their TV rights for the upcoming cycle. The rights right now for NBC and or for Comcast and Fox both come up October 2024. So we got about a year here. So we're going to need to close this up this year to know where we're going to be moving at the end of next year, if we move. Now, while the Post noted it's very likely that these shows wind up exactly where they are in the end and do not move anywhere, apparently WrestleVotes is saying WWE would really, really like that partnership with Disney. They want to move one or both of these shows to Disney. Now, how do you feel about that?
I feel like this is great business. I don't think the move is going to happen, but I think it's great business. How do you up your stock? By telling folks that there's interest in the top of the stock, That's how I see it. It's great business to say like, hey, if you want us to come back, I just want you to know that, those guys, they've been kind of interested, we were kind of interested too. So it won't be long before we hear Amazon, Apple, all of the folks showing interest. But I think that it's truly going to come down to which of these studio companies, the integration, which makes the most sense for them. Disney owns about everything, but so does Comcast and NBC Universal, so at the end of the day, it's going to be between the two of them. Obviously it would be interesting if Comcast, NBC Universal was like, hey, we'll play ball for real now,